on, and there's a Bing, and we're live already, and it's EuroAsia Scrum, and it's an hour late. Apologies, the clocks have changed here in London, UK-wide. So basically, that's well, that's one of the main agenda items. Thomas is here. Let's go and do screen share and hear about Thomas's weekend or other things that he feels are relevant to share. Thomas, how are things going with you?
Fairly good. I had a busy weekend. But mostly work related. I have a deadline today, and I got a lot of stuff sorted out. I did a major refactoring of a code base, so I'm happy with it. However, I run into some problems that potentially you can help me with if you have a few spare minutes.
Yeah, well, you were saying something about trying to get RMagic linked with Homebrew on OS X. I mean, I feel like that's something that I've looked at. It was needed for something, but it feels like it was many years ago now. What do you?
The thing is that when I try to run gem install RMagic, he complains that he can't find ImageMagick.
Right.
That I for sure know is installed. However, when I do brew link ImageMagick, I get an error that could not symlink the file. So yes, it seems to be a problem.
Okay.
But I'm trying to solve that manually by he says that there could be some files that already exist and I need to remove them. So that's I was in the process of doing that when you called to Scrum, you know. When
yes.
Summons.
So that's in the forefront of your mind. Anything else blocking you at the moment?
No, just time-wise, but I'm coping. You know, just trying to be there for Rene, talking to him about the events epic.
Right.
There are some outstanding pull requests that we need to pull in, but me and Brian need to get our shit together. The thing about the new newsletter link on your profile was actually due to you remember I did a Stack Overflow post, that's pretty, and actually Professor Fox answered, yes. I was asking whether I can have an array as an environmental variable on Heroku.
I remember.
And the general consensus was yes, and the answer is no.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Yes. So I actually updated that answer by myself. Rene figured it out, and we spoke about it, and I updated that answer. What we did now is we have a string with both yours and mine addresses.
And then you parse it.
And then I split the string later when I process that.
Right.
So the answer is no. You cannot have environmental variables in arrays on Heroku.
Right.
Yes. So anyway, that was the reason. So my email was parsed, but yours were not. So that's because mine was set first.
Makes sense.
So that's up. That's a fix. It's always fun to you know collaboratively come to these conclusions, because there were a lot of people involved in this reaching that you know finding that answer out. So that's always fun, you know. So,
good stuff.
Yeah, Rene is a great guy. You know, I have great hopes for him. Actually, he's very committed to this community, and and he's committed to sorting out the events thing.
Yeah, great.
I got some statistics. I subscribe to a aggregated statistics report for agileventures.org, and we lost some. We had 10% fewer visitors last week than the week before, but we are steady at around 2,400 page views each week. But this was a decline week. But I usually post them on Slack in the website channel or general channel, I think, so people can know what's going on. And the thing is, I was just thinking of this: the Slack notification. Once we get the event epic, you know, sorted out, I believe that the Slack notification should point. Could point, not should, but my idea is that it could point to agileventures.org and rewrote the user from there in some way. Because, I mean, I think that we should, it feels like right now that Slack is the main channel for communication, which it should be. But the site itself loses a lot of appeal. Yes, and I've done some tests. I hit the database and checked for some statistics, and there's not many people logging into the site actually.
No. Well, that's an issue. Before we, I mean, there's lots of things I could say. Before we get into that, shall we just ask What's your availability like for today?
This afternoon I'll be available to pair, but I promised Sasha to as I did last Friday to join in a pairing session with them midday. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, there's a number of points there I'd like to come back to. Let's just do me, which is issues that because the clocks have changed. I'm going to be in order to run this Scrum. We're going to need to change the.
Yeah, we just updated that to 7:30 UTC, right?
Yeah, which we do. I mean, I think it's an interesting issue then that we have of, the various places that we need to do that. I mean, the question then becomes is whether if this is now closer to this one, should the times of the other Scrums change?
That's what we did last time. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
the Euro Scrum at 11 UTC.
Yeah. I mean, I guess what we'll do is we'll have the Scrums at the normal the UTC times, and well, anyway, I won't be in the Scrum. You can discuss with the people in that Scrum whether they want to move it around, and I'll do the same at this one, and so on and so forth. Other people's clocks will be changing at other times. But the interesting thing was, so having changed it there, I think it's now going to be out of date in the welcome email.
I can have a look at that.
Yeah, and also, so we've got, if I look here,
it just changed that. I changed that already.
In the welcome email.
No, I changed the events page.
This one still says, you did. All right, I had to stay there. Well done. Great. So, I mean, then we've also got the places in AV102 and in the email. So, I mean, I think I'll just put a note here to myself here for AV102 and the email. And really, we would like to. I guess actually dry out. I mean, what we've got an issue there is that when Scrum times change, what we'd really like to see is that that changed across the board, wouldn't we?
Yes. Problem with the welcome email is that we need to do that with a pull request. So.
Yes, right. But so ideally, a version of the email in the future could dynamically load that data. So immediately we've got a chore, which is update EuroAsia Scrum time in all places. It's mentioned, so that includes AV102, and we've got AV1T, email, others, and then we could have a feature here which is dry out all Scrum times. So we've got Scrum times set separately in AV102 emails, about page. We've got the events and others. Can dry some of this out. Okay, so that's there. Other things going on my side. Good lot of local support activity. We had the retrospective on Friday, which went well, and John and Marion and Michael were there, and also actually Gail, who was just sort of checking it out. It's nice to have somebody observing and taking advantage of that. That we offer through Agile Ventures, and looks like John and Marion and Michael were all very busy over the weekend, and I've got a series of pull requests from them that I'm reviewing, and so positive stuff on the local support project there. I guess the big things upcoming for me right now are updating the MOOC, updating AV102. There's some interesting conversation in the AV102 channel, but yeah, that's about the size of that. Regarding, I think then going back to, what was I just going to do? I was reminding me to submit. I think actually I post that one. It's posting my comments to. Yeah, let's post these for. Yeah, okay. That's all the local support things. That's going quite well. I mean, as regards just to touch on your ideas there, I think, I mean, in principle, I wouldn't have a problem that Slack took people to Agile Ventures, but what I'm concerned about is people being able to access. I think it would be a shame if, purely for the purpose of increasing footfall on the Agile Ventures site, if people were clicking on here and it was taking them to an Agile Ventures page, then they had to do another click to get into the Scrum. You know, if it could take them there and then redirect and auto-launch the Scrum for them, that's another matter. I think, I mean, what was interesting about the discussion that that we were having earlier on during last week, is I get the sense that you're perhaps more worried about, how Agile Ventures members reach out to new members individually, rather than you are so much about how easy it is to get into or out of the Scrums. Like
no. I'm well. If that's the way you understood it, then I perhaps put it. I expressed myself not clear enough. I'm very much committed to the technical part of this whole thing, and the ease of the functions that we offer are of course a priority of mine. However, what I felt at that particular time is that there's so much focus on that part, and I don't believe that this is the holy grail of Agile Ventures. I mean, I think that the community itself has much more to offer than just functions that are easy to use on the website. Yes. That's what I meant. But I'm very much committed to the functions and everything, of course. But and the reason why I sense this is that we have all these we've had previously, and we keep having the discussions about the functionalities and the documentation and what should be done and what shouldn't be done. But when it comes to it, again, people are not reading the documents and not noticing the some features or using them. And of course, that bug could stay with us, that we don't make them, the features and the documents, fun enough to read or easily to spot. And use. Of course, we could have that argument, but there is a balance sometimes. That is, to a certain point, we need to start asking people for being committed and wanting to. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I agree. I agree entirely. I think that's. You're absolutely right that the features in the documentation is not sufficient by itself. And at the end of the day, without individuals reaching out to each other and kind of helping greet people in the community, helping them support them through the early stages and so on, it's nothing. Like without that.
Yes. That was my point exactly. Go on. I need to say that we can't hold people's hand, and guiding them, too long and too much, because the very nature of the thing that we're doing here is that it is complicated. So we need some people are some new members, they get into the flow and rather fast, and some others are like, oh, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Sure.
If if 100% of our new members would be confused, then I would understand that. But since it's not the case, that there are a lot of people that actually can get on board with not too much hassle. I think that's a good thing. Of course, we should address the corner cases, and that will always be my priority. Yeah. But we have limited resources, and we need to focus on that.
No. So I think we're in basic agreement that the fundamental resource is humans. Right, and humans reaching out and so on. I mean, personally, I would separate the documentation and the features, and I'd say it's nice to have good documentation because there's some percentage of people that I think it is quite relatively small who will read that, and it's great if it's there, but it takes effort and resources to make and effort and resources to maintain. And when it comes to there's a person there who knows what they're talking about, and you can talk to them and get the information from them quickly, I think the majority of people prefer that to reading documentation, and that's just easier because you can have your concerns answered and so on in a way that maybe a documentation can sometimes do, but it can't. I mean, I think that the thing that I'm seeing though for me is forget about the documentation, although that for the moment, I mean, is that nice? I think the challenge comes when it's about we have to have the people reaching out to each other and scaffolding each other and this, that, and the other, or those things, and taking responsibility for moving things forward once and not leaning on other people too much. But the critical thing I would say is that we have to, like, what the technology has to do is scaffold making those connections between the people. So, for example, if people come to the site and they can't get into Slack, right, and they can't see all of those things that are going on and actually make the connection with people, then it's kind of like it's stillborn. And similarly, if they can't, if they come to a Scrum and they can't find the link and they can't click on it, they can't actually get into a Scrum with another person, then again, it's sort of stillborn. Do you know what I mean? So I see those two things as sort of limiting factors that, yeah, I think we need to address those things a bit parallel. But it sounds like we're on the same page. I mean, I'm going to have to run off now. The RMagic thing, if you write a stack of...
Actually, when we spoke, I fixed it.
There you go.
I manually deleted some files and I created the link.
Sometimes just my presence has an influence on computers that makes them behave.
And actually, the last problem I had was basically the same thing. As I was starting to write the Stack Overflow question, I just hit me and I solved it. So I never had to post that. So yeah, you have magic aura around you.
Well, I have a rubber duck personality, I think is what it is. I think that's now mentioned actually, but we've got a link to it in the code section, I believe. Yes, here we go, rubber ducking. That's yeah, do check that out if you're not familiar with that. Anyway, yeah. I don't think that there's anything else that we immediately need to coordinate. It sounds like we're on the same page. I'll probably see you in the Atlantic Scrum, give or take. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Take it easy, Sam.
You too. Thanks, Thomas. Take care. Bye for now.